How do you manage the growth from your side, Aaron? As a company grows, what's one of the most important things leaders can really adopt and take away that you guys emphasize as they grow? What's a couple of the most important things from a sales team, from a deliverable standpoint, that you see that you talk about every day?
Taylor mentioned one of the big ones, and it boils down to process and scalability, right? Scalability is a buzzword, but at the end of the day, it's hard to have nice, steady, continual growth if you're just winging it. At some point in time, there's a difference between a business and a practice, right? The practice is where the owner is, if they're gone, those cash registers stop ringing. The business is when the owner can actually get away and have a life, and that cash register continues to ring. And a lot of that boils down to process, and it boils down to, are we hiring the right people? Do we properly onboard them? Do we have a process for holding people accountable? Do we have a process from a sales side? So that, as Taylor said, we can hire good people and help them become great versus constantly hoping we can find the unicorn. The biggest thing that typically hinders growth is, outside of not having a plan or where we're even looking to go, it's what's really the path or the process we're going to follow to be able to repeat this over and over and at a higher level.
What's more important from your vantage point, the process or the people?
Well, okay, so let's take that question. So if you look at strategy, structure, staff, and skills. So if you don't have a strategy, you don't know what structure. And you can have the best structure in the world, but if you don't have the right staff, the structure doesn't matter. And you can have the best people in the world, but if they don't have the skills, then the staff doesn't matter. So there is a flow of structure, short answer, structure or process, because when process or structure is set, then we know what process or structure, then we find the right people, and then we layer on the skills to have to execute all the bottom. So at the end of the day, a good person in a great process will outperform a great person in a not so good process.
So Taylor, I love your answer. On that note, how difficult is it when you're in the business day to day to kind of self-critique your process, and then especially when you guys have had so much success over the last number of years, you've helped so many clients across the country. What's your process where you're trying to continue to innovate and continue to really develop your process to kind of be first in line?
Yeah, I mean, we're very data driven, and so we have goals for everything. I'm going to say, and I'm talking about, we've got revenue growth goals for the business, and then we get more granular than that, and we talk about, well, in order to hit that goal, how many deals does each one of our reps have to close? In order to close that many deals, how many demos do they have to have? In order to have that many demos, how many leads do we have to process? And what's the conversion rate on each one of those things? So, we've got spreadsheets that break all of this down, and we're tracking that performance very closely. We communicate it with the team. We get buy-in from the team. They're excited about it. So when we see a drop off, again, the nice thing about having this be process driven is, if we see a drop off from step A to step B, and normally we want a 45% conversion rate on this, and we see that drop to 40%. It's not a thumping somebody in the head and saying, what the heck, we got to get that back up to 45%. Instead, we're able to be very discreet and from a coaching standpoint say, hey, what's going on? What are we seeing? What's changed? Why did this drop from 45 to 40%? And we can problem solve together. And, so then it's not me or Aaron or some member of the team, kind of putting your thumb on things and driving down. Instead, it's a collaborative process. And, we're all focused on the same goals. So we want to solve the problem together. And I find that works a lot more effectively than a top down, kind of, more aggressive sort of approach to things.
And Greg, to that point, one of the things OneClick does a great job of is following the universal rule of let's blame process first, not people.
It's powerful. That helps with their culture, which is second to none. We've had tremendous conversations throughout our evaluation process about what they're doing with their culture. It is very driven, but it's also very open.